And good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Orange Fire Media Podcast. This is episode number 2, but this is the first time that we've come to you live here on YouTube. I'm Russ Reneau, and I'll be hosting you each week, every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So, introduced the podcast last week and wanted to just share a little bit with everyone else who's watching out there for the first time. The first time we're streaming live. Just about what makes us different from other UFC podcasts, great ones out there. But hopefully this one is a little bit different because we'll be talking about trading cards and UFC trading cards, sports memorabilia, collectibles, maybe touch on a little bit sports as a whole a little bit, but I want to focus mostly on the UFC because that's who has the trading card products out there in the MMA space. And as we talk about fights, won't be doing so much fight breakdowns because there's a lot of great people who do that already out there in the podcast world. I think Luke Thomas is probably the best at it, breaking down fights technically from a technical standpoint, can tell you who has an advantage, who is probably favored in a fight. That's really not my area of expertise, as a lot of these former fighters are way better at that than I am, former and current fighters out there in the podcast game who can do that, just right off the cuff and really do a good job. And I enjoy listening to it. I listen to other podcasts, as I said, great ones out there, and I hope that this one day becomes in that category. People enjoy coming here to get their UFC, MMA content. As I said, going to focus on the UFC just because that's where the products are. So as you see here, as I switch over a little bit, this is what's going to make us a little bit different here on the Orange Fire Media Podcast. So we have some products that we'll open each week. We're going to start off a little bit slow today. We have retail box of 2021 Panini Prism, and we'll get into that, and also have these 2 pink ice packs right there that we'll also open up today. And you see all the stuff that we have in the coming weeks, and we'll get into that in a little bit later on in the show. But right now, we want to talk about what happened last night, and the reason why we are on Sundays at 9 p.m. I want to take a day to digest what happened on the UFC card the night before. Just kind of a reaction of what happened. Start off with a pretty good fight night event last night at the Apex in Las Vegas. That was headlined by Derek Lewis, the number 7 ranked heavyweight in the UFC, facing off against the 12th ranked heavyweight in Sergey Spivac. And Spivac coming out with a great game plan and taking Lewis down time after time. Not really what most people probably would have expected from Derek Lewis, but Sergey Spivac getting a submission in the first round and taking the victory. So a big victory for Spivac in the heavyweight division. And kind of a downward slide here for Derek Lewis. So see if Lewis can bounce back and get back into contention. He's had some big knockouts, the most knockouts as a heavyweight, and see if he can get back on track next time out. So 2 different trajectories there in that main event. So we talk about the co-main event, Devin Clark at light heavyweight getting a unanimous decision over Dawan Young, and also a top 15 heavyweight matchup with number 10 ranked Marcin Tybura defeating Blagoy Ivanov by unanimous decision. And I think the other thing that was interesting about last night's event is we saw the finals of the road to the UFC, and what this entailed was 32 fighters from Asia and squaring off in a tournament across 4 different weight divisions. And so talk a little bit about those results as Anshul Jubilee in the lightweight getting a second round knockout over Jika Saragi. And also in the featherweight division, it was Zhonggong Li defeating Yi Za in a split decision. Also in the bantamweight division, Rinya Nakamura with an impressive first round knockout from Toshiyomi Kazama, getting the victory in the finals in the bantamweight division. And then in the flyweight division, Hyung Sung Park getting a submission in the third round over Sunguk Choi. So those are the highlights from last night's event in Las Vegas. That was actually supposed to be in Seoul, South Korea. So they moved that event. That's why there was a midnight start time to that main card. And so if you stayed up late and watched that, kudos to you. I kind of rewatched it this morning to get an idea of what happened. And so I got to check that out not quite as late as last night. So that's why they had all the Asian fighters on the road to the UFC. That's why that was last night, because it was originally supposed to be in South Korea. So another thing that I wanted to let everybody know about this podcast is I want to be a little bit different. Is since this is kind of centered around the hobby industry and a lot of kids out there, a lot of UFC podcasts, a lot of fighters, a little rough around the edges, and that's great for them. So we're going to keep this pretty family friendly, pretty clean. So you're not going to hear me cuss a whole lot unless we pull a one of one out of one of these boxes. Then you might. But I really want to make this a place where you can listen to this with your kids as you get them involved in the hobby. That they can also have fun with this, and that this can be a place that's safe for them, for their ears, and so that's really going to be something that I'm going to pride myself on and not doing. Like I said, hopefully we pull something great out of here. Maybe a little slippage, but for the most part, we're going to keep it clean so everybody can really listen and enjoy it. And again, if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy the hobby, would just encourage you to subscribe to the podcast because that's going to help us grow. And also, this will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, wherever you get podcasts. Go on there and subscribe, and that'll really help me out a lot. Want to get some sponsors on board. Get everybody on board that we possibly can, just to make this the best place it can be. Do want to tell you about a group on Facebook that I'm part of, and I really appreciate them letting me promote it. On the group is the UFC Sports Cards group, led by Kevin Fernandez and Jordan Ferguson. Great group to be part of, about 9,000 members, just an awesome community. Kevin Fernandez is the best breaker out there for UFC cards. I'm not breaking. I leave that to Kevin because he's the best. What I do is I open them. Everything's available for purchase. Make me an offer. If you see something that we open and you want it, just let me know. You can contact me at russ@orange-fire.com or any social media platform at orangefiremedia. So again, just want to thank Kevin and Jordan and the UFC Sports Cards group. They've been awesome. Just want to let you know, Kevin tomorrow will be having a Pick Your Fighter break that'll be posted tomorrow. I'm doing half a case of Prism, half a case of Optic, and 16 pink ice packs. He'll be posting prices at 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, and then you can claim your fighters at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's the way Kevin does it. As I said, he's the best. Gets your stuff out quick, safe, and just does a really good job. And hopefully, when I can have guests and learn to get that technology as I can get people on, that we can have Kevin here on. And I think he'd be a great person to talk to as we go through this product, and just really, once again, appreciate them. If you haven't joined UFC Sports Cards on Facebook, please do. As I said, we're a great community, great bunch of people in that group. So as we said, every week we'll open a box, show what we have. Also, if we get a little slow, I also have a lots box. That's off to the side here, but we can go through it. I have a bunch of fighter lots in there, some stuff that I've opened this year that, got some good cards in there, some good numbered cards. I think I have a couple of autographs left, and we can go through those if we get slow. If anybody wants to see those, if you have anybody you in particular you want to see, I'll see what I have, and we can see what's in that box, and it'll be fun to kind of go through and, hopefully add to that tonight with whatever is in this box and these 2 packs, hopefully add to those lots. So moving on, I want to talk about the upcoming events in UFC. That's the one thing we're going to do. We're going to go over what happened the night before. Then we're going to talk about what's coming up. And UFC 284 is coming up next weekend. And that is from Perth, Australia. A huge super fight against pairing 2 champions. Is Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champion, squaring off against the featherweight champion, Alex Volkanovski. So a huge fight from Perth, Australia. Volkanovski from Australia, and Makhachev, the champion in the higher weight division, squaring off of that lightweight belt. Volkanovski trying to become the champ and taking both titles. The co-main event for that Perth, Australia card is for the interim featherweight championship. Should Volkanovski win and vacate that featherweight championship, be the second-ranked featherweight Yair Rodriguez taking on the number 5 ranked featherweight in Josh Emmett. So they'll be squaring off for the interim championship in that co-main event. And one other interesting thing, rumored fight coming up on April 15th. This just dropped in the last couple of days. That 4th-ranked Arnold Allen will be taking on the top contender Max Holloway in an April 15th event. No schedule for that yet, no official announcement, but that's a rumor. So it's kind of a little tournament there with the 3rd-ranked featherweight Brian Ortega out with a shoulder injury. So it leaves 1, 2, 4, and 5 to kind of duke it out and see who comes out on top, and if Volk can hold on to that title. If he goes on and becomes the champ, see how that shakes out in that division. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens going forward. Only other ranked fighter on that card is Jimmy Crute. He's the 12th ranked light heavyweight. He'll be facing Alonzo Menifield. So big event, a lot of fights on the card, a lot of interesting fights on the card, but those top 2 are really going to be dynamite. As you'll see, as we go out through the show, that we are, we'll give a nod to our, I'm in the Houston area. If you couldn't tell, a little bit of background on the Orange Fire Media name, where that comes from, a little bit of background. I'm in the Houston area, big Astros fan, always have been. And so that name, Orange Fire, there was a song about the Astros a long time, and that was kind of the catch line was Breathing Orange Fire. So that's where the name kind of comes from. It started this media company and started off with some graphic design work that I've been working on. You can see over my shoulder. I have a Houston area craft brewery map that I've been working on, and that was actually supposed to be the first project of Orange Fire Media was that Houston area craft brewery map, and that's coming down soon. And if anybody's interested in that, that'll be available in the near future, hopefully. As I said, that's supposed to be the first thing that came out of Orange Fire Media, but it ended up being this podcast, and I couldn't be more excited to do this podcast. So here's a nod to our Houston area craft breweries. We can talk about those as well as we go along and get more comfortable in here. Other events coming up. We've got a fight night coming up on February 18th from the Apex. Number 2 ranked women's flyweight, Tyler Santos taking on number 10 Aaron Blanchfield, and Aaron Blanchfield is just a ball of fire shooting up the rankings, so that's a big fight right there. And we'll just kind of hit the highlights. We won't go through every single fight on every card, but there are some big ones coming up. Fight night on February 25th, also at the Apex. Number 6, Nikita Krylov facing number 9 Ryan Spann in the light heavyweight division. And then we got another huge card, and just a massive card, at UFC 285, March 4th, Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena for the vacant heavyweight championship of the world. Jon Jones against Ciryl Gane. And that just speaks for itself. Jon Jones making his return. Gane going the distance with Francis Ngannou, who vacated the title. Should be a great fight. A lot of people looking at that fight, wanting to come out and challenge whoever wins that fight. Also, the co-main event, another championship bout. Valentina Shevchenko, the women's flyweight champion, facing off against the 5th-ranked contender Alexa Grasso. Also got a matchup of top 15 lightweights in number 10 Jalen Turner and number 11 Dan Hooker. Then a matchup I'm really interested in as it relates to the hobby, because this is someone who is really popular right now. Everybody's got an eye on. His cards are really hot right now. I'm talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov. In the welterweight division, he's a number 10 ranked welterweight, and he'll be facing Jeff Neal, and we'll talk about him as it relates to the hobby as we go along, because he's one of those hot names right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about those during the course of the show. Also, see the UFC debut of Bo Nickel in the middleweight division. College All-American. He'll be facing off against J.B. Pickett. Was supposed to make his debut towards the end of last year, but had an injury, and but he still got Pickett, and they'll square off in March 4th, and you'll see Bo Nickel for the first time. Also, another top 10 matchup in the middleweight division. Number 5 Derek Brunson against number 10 Dracus Duplessis. So that's just a stacked card. It's going to be a lot of fun. Wish I was in Vegas that weekend, but that should be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to talk about the next night on the show. And then we got the fight night, March 11th. A lot of these are starting to take shape. A lot of things recently announced. Dana White making some announcements here in the past week or so about some of these matchups coming up. And then we got another fight night, March 11th in Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotel. This is for the first time. And got the headliner, 2nd-ranked bantamweight contender Petr Yan facing off against Merab Dvalishvili. So that's a huge fight. Kind of interesting that it headlines a fight night, because that could be a co-main on any other card. So great fight on a fight night, March 11th. We've got Alexander Volkov, number 8th-ranked heavyweight, facing off against Alexander Romanov. So pretty good card there for a fight night. Saeed Nurmagomedov also on that card against Jonathan Martinez. Then we make it to UFC 286, March 18th in London at the O2 Arena. The rematch, the champion Leon Edwards defending against the former champion, number 1 contender Kamaru Usman in the welterweight division. That one speaks for itself. Leon getting that last-second head kick, knocking out Kamaru Usman in Salt Lake City over the summer. And now Usman coming back from a hand injury, and they're finally going to get that rematch done. And also the co-main on that card is from the lightweight division, number 3 Justin Gaethje against the 6th-ranked Rafael Fiziev. So great event there. Some other top 10 matchups in the middleweight division. Marvin Vettori, number 4, and number 8 Roman Dolidze. So they'll square off on that UFC 286 card. And that one's also not quite as stacked as 285, but still should be a fun event to watch. Some other announcements that have recently been made. Got a fight night coming up on March 25th in San Antonio, so not too far from me, and hopefully I could make it there. But a great main event as the bantamweights, number 4 Marlon Chito Vera will be taking on number 5 Corey Sandhagen. So really looking forward to that one. Two great fighters. Really, whoever wins that is going to be poised for a title shot. And also, on that card, not a confirmed opponent yet, but I was listening to the Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith confirmed that he will be on that card. Does not have an opponent that he could announce yet, but did announce that on this week's show, on that last episode, that he will be on that March 25th San Antonio card. No other fights for that card have been officially announced. Then we look on the last of our scheduled events right now. April 8th in Miami, UFC 287, the rematch between the middleweight champion Alex Pereira against the top contender, the former champion Israel Adesanya. So those two will rematch. Alex Pereira has beaten Adesanya 3 times, 2 in kickboxing previously, and then taking the title from Izzy in the fall. Co-main in that event in the welterweight division be number 5 Gilbert Burns, just coming off a victory a couple of weeks ago against number 11 Jorge Masvidal. So Masvidal be making his return to the octagon. So one other event that I want to talk to before we get to the cards, because I know all those out there watching, that's kind of the draw, and that's what draws you in here. So we'll get to those in just a second. So I want to talk about the big news that came out this week. The 2 coaches for the Ultimate Fighter who will square off at the end of the season, which is due to end in August, I believe. August 15th is the finale of the Ultimate Fighter, and it's going to be Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. So don't know if they'll be fighting at 155 or 170. I imagine that Conor may have trouble making 155 at this point, but probably at 170 it should be just dynamite, those two. McGregor making his return, and Chandler is just a showstopper every time he steps in the octagon, so it should be just a lot of fun, and it'd be an awesome event. So look for that in the fall. Conor McGregor against Michael Chandler. So we'll get ready here, and as we gear up to open this retail box of 2021 Prism. And what I'm going to do is all great breakers do, but as I said, I'm not breaking. But I'm going to put on these gloves so I can cleanly open these cards, because you never know when you have to change a printer cartridge, as it did today. Not only that, also had to make Play-Doh for my son's daycare class. So definitely want to wear the gloves when opening cards, but definitely when you've been dealing with a lot of things on your fingers, don't want to get that on the cards. So take this, got those on to protect the cards, anything that's really good and want to protect it and take care of. So let's talk about what we have first, and then I know we'll get into it. So what I have, the 2021 Panini Prism. That's a retail box. Then I've got these 2 pink ice packs, 2022 Prism, those special edition. In the coming weeks, I've got two retail boxes of 2022 Chronicles. I've got 2 hobby boxes of Optic, and I've got 2 retail boxes of Optic. Then kind of the home run of what I have up here, and you can kind of see the bottom of it up here on the shelf, and I'll pull that down in a little bit. But I've got a box of 2022 Panini Prism. It's a hobby box, and I'm really looking forward to opening that because that's the only product in the 2022 line I haven't opened a hobby box of yet. So want to get to that as soon as possible. Want you to tell everybody who would be interested in this show to subscribe, because the more subscribers we get, the better products we get, and the faster we can get to those hobby boxes and start opening those when we have more of a following. So really looking forward to opening up that box of Panini Prism. So one other thing, and I'll talk about it after we open this box. I want to talk about the Immaculate boxes that are coming out soon, and we'll talk about those in just a little bit. But now I think everybody's been waiting, and so hopefully everybody's in here, has been watching a little bit. So now let's get to it, and let's open up this box of 2021 Panini Prism Retail. So move those pink ice packs out of the way. As I open these up, one of these days I'm hoping to get picture in picture. You can see everything at the same time. See me, see the cards. See nothing fishy going on. But yeah, there you can see the box. I just opened it. And there are the packs. So let's see what we got first. See some rookies in here. And for those listening, I'm going to apologize for those that are downloading this podcast, listening to it on Apple Podcast. Sorry about this portion, but you can at least hear it. I'm going to go through all of them, no matter how good or bad they are. I'm going to tell you exactly what we pull out of these packs. So first pack, got the champ, Amanda Nunes, Jacker Manson, got a green Kelvin Gastelum, and Diego Ferreira. It's a rookie card from last year. Pack number 2. So Stephen Thompson. Sorry about that. Kamaru Usman Instant Impact. Looking for anything numbered out of a retail box. Alexander Gustafsson. And a Chaos Williams rookie card. Here's pack number 3. Right in the microphone. There we go. We got the new flyweight champion, the 2-time flyweight champion, Brandon Moreno. That's a rookie card for Brandon. Got a Kevin Lee. We got a nice silver prism. Magomed Ankalaev rookie card. Silver prism there, so we'll take care of that one in a second. And a Cub Swanson. That Ankalaev. The number 2 ranked light heavyweight contender right now. So he'll go in there. Put him off to the side. 3 more left in this retail box. Vicente Luque, Jan Blachowicz, green instant impact. Nothing numbered yet. Mickey Gall. And Brad Riddell. Robert Whitaker, James Krause, got a Dustin Poirier Fireworks, and Raoni Barcelos. So here is the last pack, the 2021 Prism Retail. Tanner Boser, rookie card. Stipe Miocic, knockout artist. That'll go into the fighter lot. Have a lot of Stipe. Now have an autograph of Stipe still in there. There we go, Alexander Volkov. And there's the women's strawweight champion, Zhang Wei Li. So that does it for the 2021 retail box. Now, here we go. 3 cards in this pack. 2022 Panini Prism Pink Ice. Another Brandon Moreno. So got a champ there. The rookie card, Abubakar Nurmagomedov. So not too bad. And there you go, Cub Swanson. So we'll take care of those. We'll put those in sleeves in just a second. But here we go, one more. D-Rod rookie card, Daniel Rodriguez. Nina Nunes. And Volkan Ozdemir. So kind of underwhelming on the pink ice packs. So what do we end up with? Ozdemir, Nina Nunes, Daniel Rodriguez, Cub Swanson, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, and the Brandon Moreno. Those are probably the 2 best out of there. So looking forward to next week. Looking forward to getting into some of these other boxes. I've said got 2 of those. Got 2 boxes of Chronicles Retail. Got 2 boxes of Optic Retail. And then you can see we've got 2 boxes of Optic Hobby. So we've got 2 of those. And then the big one right there. So tell all your friends, because I really like to have a following before we get into that box. That's going to be huge. Really looking forward to it, and hope you will stick around and join us for that, because I'm really excited. So as we talk more about the hobby after opening up those boxes, those packs, that Immaculate will be coming out soon. We don't know when. It was supposed to be February 1st. Then we thought it would be February 8th, which is Wednesday. But on the Panini website, they usually have a countdown for the week, so you can see when you can buy the product. And I haven't seen that countdown yet as of yesterday. I didn't check it today, but haven't seen anything new on Immaculate. And It's going to be really big. It's the first set of Immaculate from Panini for the UFC. So what that box entails, it's one pack. It's 6 cards, but they're all really short print. So 3 autographs and 2 memorabilia cards per average on those boxes. Everything that I saw on the checklist, that's why I had to change the printer cartridge. I thought, oh, I'll just check it. I'll just print out the Immaculate checklist for the show. And so that took 32 pages. So a lot more to go through than I thought. But everything's numbered 99 or lower that I saw on that list, and a lot of stuff. Just a huge list of product. Obviously, 32 pages is a huge set list. But even the base cards are numbered to 49. Just incredible. So even that on average one card that you're going to pull that's not an autograph or a memorabilia card is going to be numbered to 49 probably. Big thing about Immaculate is you've got on-card autographs instead of the stickers. Everybody's really been looking forward to that for the UFC. And then also the jumbo memorabilia and the fighter walkout materials. Two of the cards in my collection kind of mean a lot to me. That's why I got them. Pretty good size octagon patches, bigger than you normally see. And the reason why I have these is because I went to UFC 220. That was in Boston back in 2018, I believe. And so I was able to pick up this Daniel Cormier from UFC 220. That's a fight used matte relic from that, and Stipe Miocic from his main event victory over Francis Ngannou there in Boston. So look for jumbo patches like these coming out of Immaculate. Really looking forward to that coming out. And one thing that I'll do is when new products come out, that I'll always buy a box of new product that we can open on the show. And as I said, the more people that we get watching the show, the better that product to be, the more of that product I will have. It'd be a lot of fun to go through that and talk about the fighters and the trading cards with everybody as we go along. Another thing I wanted to show off and just kind of get everybody's thoughts on, as I said, you can message me at Orange Fire Media on all platforms, and also you can email me Russ RUSS at orange-fire.com. You can email me any questions about cards, any questions, things you want to see on the show, anything you want to talk about. I'm open to it. I would love to have this be not just my show, but your show and your community. And really excited to have you all on here tonight and going forward, and really looking forward to it. One thing I do want to show you, just how we look at some of the things in the hobby, because I got this about a week and a half ago. This was just sent off from Panini, a new card. So I want to show that to you. There is Raul Rosas Jr. That's his first card. It's a Panini Instant card, and a lot of people don't like these as much as just the regular product. Don't consider them true rookie cards. But you know, that's the first card of Raul Rosas Jr. He's got a fight coming up. He's on that UFC 287 card in Miami on April 8th. He'll be taking on Christian Rodriguez. That's his second fight ever in the bantamweight division. Raul Rosas, 18 years old, youngest fighter in UFC history. Got a victory his first time out. So I went ahead and picked up this Panini Instant card just because you never know. You never know how big he's going to get. So just to let everybody know, really the only fighter that I really collect is Tom Aspinall. And so I've hit a couple of big Tom Aspinall cards, so kind of held on to those and just kind of gathered up some more. But everything else, fair game. Even those, you know, don't really want to part with them at this point, but I'm down. So you know, if you got anything to share, you know, just let me know. Um, just really want to make this the best show that it can be. Um, really, um, what I see is the only show devoted to the UFC hobby side of things, and that's I just want to be the best in this space, and you know, in the card space anyway. Like I said, I'm not going to be the best at fight breakdowns, not going to be the best at getting fighter interviews. Um, just want to be the best in talking uh, about UFC trading cards and just making this a great place. Bring a little bit of joy to your life on a Sunday night. Talking about the previous fight card, what's coming up, and just all the great products that are coming out. So that um, is really all I have for tonight's show. Looking forward to, we'll probably get into those Chronicles boxes next week. Maybe we'll mix it up. Maybe we'll do a Chronicles box and an Optic box, and then we'll do that the next 2 weeks. And then we'll get into some of these hobby boxes, which I know that we're all looking forward to. So, first live show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back next week. We'll be on every week. We'll be talking about UFC 284 next week after that event. Should be a great card. Once again, Makhachev and Volkanovski for the lightweight title. But once again, you can contact me at Russ at orange-fire.com and social media at orangefire media. And I really hope you enjoyed this show and that you'll come back next week, and we will see you then. Appreciate it, everybody, and everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week.